In the bustling heart of London's ITV studios on a crisp October morning in 2025, the set of Lorraine Kelly's beloved morning show hummed with its usual pre-broadcast energy. Cameras whirred softly as technicians adjusted lights, casting a warm glow over the plush velvet armchairs arranged in a semicircle around the iconic blue sofa where host Lorraine Kelly, the epitome of Scottish charm and journalistic tenacity, prepared for another day of delightful celebrity banter and heartfelt conversations. At 59, Lorraine had helmed this program for over 2 decades, turning it into a staple for millions of British households tuning in for their daily dose of inspiration, fashion tips, and lighthearted escapades. Today, October 19th, promised to be no different, or so the production team thought. The guest list sparkled with names from the world of entertainment, but none shone brighter than Colin Firth, the Oscar-winning actor whose brooding intensity and impeccable British reserve had captivated audiences since his breakout role as Mr. Darcy in the 1995 adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. Now 65, Firth was in town promoting his latest venture, a riveting psychological thriller titled Shadows of Doubt, directed by the acclaimed Andrea Arnold, which delved into the murky waters of corporate espionage and personal betrayal. Firth's character, a jaded intelligence operative grappling with moral ambiguity, had already garnered buzz at the Toronto International Film Festival, where critics praised his nuanced performance as a masterclass in restrained fury. As the studio clock ticked toward the 9 a.m. live slot, Lorraine reviewed her cue cards, her eyes lighting up at the thought of drawing out Firth's famously reticent insights on acting, fatherhood, and perhaps a cheeky nod to his iconic wet shirt scene from all those years ago. The interview commenced with the silky smoothness of a well-oiled machine, Lorraine's questions landing like gentle lobs in a friendly tennis match, allowing Firth to volley back with his signature dry wit. She gushed over Shadows of Doubt, extracting vivid anecdote from the filming in the rain-soaked streets of Manchester, where Firth had improvised a tense confrontation scene that left co-star Anya Taylor-Joy in stitches between takes. It was freezing, he recounted, his voice a velvety baritone that sent a collective sigh through the audience. But that's when the magic happens, when you're raw, unfiltered, pushing against the elements. Lorraine nodded vigorously, her red blouse a vibrant splash against the neutral tones of the set, steering the conversation toward his evolution as an actor from period dramas to edgier fare. Viewers at home, sipping their morning brews in cozy kitchens from Edinburgh to Exeter, felt the cozy intimacy of the exchange, tweeting in real time with hashtags like #ColinOnLorraine and #FirthCharm. Yet, as the segment progressed past the halfway mark, Lorraine's probing sharpened, her journalist's instinct kicking in like a hound scenting a trail. She pivoted to his personal life with the subtlety of a headline chaser, referencing a recent Guardian profile that alluded to the emotional toll of his post-divorce years. Colin, you've been so open about the challenges of single parenthood with your sons Will and Luca. How has that shaped your choice of roles lately? Is there a bit of that vulnerability in your character here? Firth's smile tightened imperceptibly, a micro-expression that eagle-eyed fans would later dissect in slow-mo clips on TikTok. He parried gracefully at first, speaking of the joys of watching his boys grow into young men, one pursuing music in LA, the other studying architecture in London. Tension coiled like a spring in the brightly lit studio, the air conditioning's whisper the only sound punctuating the awkward pause that followed Lorraine's insistence. Colin Firth, the man who'd embodied stoic heroes from the trenches of A Single Man to the spy games of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, felt the familiar stir of defensiveness rising, a tide he'd learned to navigate but never fully master. His mind flashed to past interviews gone awry. The 2009 BAFTA couch, where a host's flippant remark about his stammer had nearly derailed him, or the 2011 Oscars press junket, where questions about his knighthood snub veered into personal territory. Now, here on Lorraine, a show he'd always viewed as a safe harbor of warmth, the boundaries blurred. Realness is one thing, Firth replied, his voice dropping an octave, laced with the clipped precision of his Eton education, but prying into someone's private struggles under the guise of connection. That's not empathy. That's exploitation. The words landed like a gauntlet thrown, the audience gasping in unison, a collective intake of breath that echoed through the monitors in the production truck. Lorraine's cheeks flushed a delicate pink, her composure cracking for the first time that morning, but true to her reporter's grit. Honed covering everything from royal weddings to Lockerbie's aftermath, she fired back without missing a beat. Exploitation? Colin, this is television. Love. We share stories to inspire, to show we're not alone. If you're struggling, saying it could help thousands watching right now, nursing their own silent battles. Her gesture encompassed the studio and, by extension, the nation, a rhetorical flourish worthy of her 2023 RTS Award for Excellence in Daytime Presenting. But to Firth, it rang hollow, a justification for the very machine that commodified vulnerability. He rose halfway from his seat, hand gripping the armrest, his 6'2" frame suddenly imposing in the cozy confines. The verbal volleys flew faster now, each participant digging deeper into their arsenal of grievances, transforming the set into a verbal coliseum where gladiators clashed under the unblinking eye of the camera. Colin Firth, his ties slightly askew from the gesticulation, leaned forward, voice rising in a crescendo that belied his Mr. Darcy decorum. You invite me here under false pretenses, light chat about the film, you said in emails, then pivot to my bloody well-being like it's open season. This isn't journalism. It's a trap. Lorraine, perched on the edge of her seat, her bangles jingling with emphatic waves, shot back with equal fire. Trap? Please, Colin. Every guest knows the drill. We talk life, loves, losses. If you can't handle a bit of heart-to-heart, stick to scripted lines. The barbs struck home, eliciting winces from the front-row audience, where a woman in a floral cardigan clutched her friend's arm, mouthing, "Oh dear," in silent solidarity. Social media ignited concurrently. Hashtag Firth vs. Lorraine trended within minutes, tweets cascading like digital confetti. Team Colin, leave the man alone, clashed with Lorraine's right. Celebs owe us the real tea. Vine compilations emerged almost instantly, splicing the spat with Firth's Pride and Prejudice pond dive for ironic effect. In the control room, executives debated muting the feed, but director instincts prevailed. Authenticity sold, even when explosive. Firth, sensing the no-win spiral, attempted one last parry, invoking mutual respect. Lorraine, you're a trailblazer, no denying it. But respect cuts both ways. My struggles aren't fodder for your feel-good segment. Yet her retort sliced through. Trailblazer? Try Survivor. I've faced down bigger egos than yours, from politicians to pop stars. Kelly said, the fallout unfurled across the media landscape like a tabloid tempest, with Colin Firth's abrupt exit becoming the undisputed story of the day, eclipsing even the Chancellor's budget leaks and the latest EastEnders twist. By midday, BBC Breakfast looped the clip, anchor Naga Munchetty framing it with measured gravitas. A morning show turns morning after. What does this say about our thirst for celebrity candor? Viewers flooded phone-ins, lines jammed with pensioners from Penzance decrying poor taste, and Gen Z callers championing boundaries, finally. Twitter, now X, served as the Coliseum's afterparty, algorithms amplifying outrage and memes in equal measure. A viral edit synced Firth's parting shot to the dramatic swell of Hans Zimmer's Inception score, garnering 500K likes in hours, while Lorraine's defenders rallied with montages of her empathetic interviews, from tearful reunions to cancer survivor spotlights. ITV's switchboard melted under 10,000 calls, a mix of support, 60%, and scorn, 40%, per internal tallies, prompting an emergency statement from the network. We celebrate open dialogue and regret any discomfort caused. Lorraine and Colin remain friends. Behind closed doors, though, recriminations simmered. Firth's agent, poached from Say, fired off a blistering email to producers, threatening future blacklists, while Lorraine's booker, a sharp-elbowed Scot, countered with reminders of her 30-year loyalty. In Hollywood-adjacent circles, whispers spread, Firth's shadows of doubt, test screenings buzzed anew. irony noted in his character's paranoia, a mirroring real-life intrusion. Publicly, Firth broke radio silence via Instagram, a rare post. A black-and-white still from the film captioned art over anecdote. Grateful for the work that heals.